What's your reporting on why Ben Johnson stayed put while the Commanders were literally in the air to come speak with him and Aaron Glenn, and how it wound up with Dan Quinn?
I would say this, Rich. There's been a lot of questionable information that has been floated about Ben Johnson, his intentions, what exactly happened. Oftentimes, the simplest solution is the correct one. And for Ben Johnson, from my understanding, this came down to he really likes his job in Detroit. He's not a guy who is super motivated by money. He's got a young family. He's very loyal to Dan Campbell, and he wants to take another run. The guy's 37 years old. He figures those head coaching openings, those head coaching opportunities are going to be out there for him in the future. We all know things can change quickly, and if the Lions go 6-11 next year, maybe it's not there for him. I personally think that it's refreshing when you have somebody who doesn't just jump at the very first opportunity. Ben Johnson 2 years in a row has done this. Last year, if he got on the plane, he quite possibly would have been the Panthers head coach. This year, he had conversations with a handful of teams. The Commanders had wanted to interview him for a second time. The Seahawks did interview him for a second time, but this was, literally hours after they had gotten back on the flight from the 49ers. He went through the process with the Seahawks, but it already sounded like he knew this just wasn't the time. He didn't feel inside himself like this was the time. So much like DeMeco Ryans a couple of years ago when he pulled out of the Minnesota Vikings search, said, hey, I could use another year. I like being in San Francisco. I want to continue to learn. Ben Johnson doing the same thing here. It was not about monetary demands. It was not about people being scared off. It certainly wasn't about the Commanders wanting to go a different direction. He was a top candidate from the start for Washington. In the end, he decided he wasn't going to leave. Commanders end up with Dan Quinn, and we'll see how that plays out for everybody in 2024.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.